Well, it's about 10 a.m. and it is windy outside. It was windy all night. I could barely sleep because the tent was shaking and rattling, which made me a little nervous. And it hasn't let up this morning. It's coming in big gusts. Right now it's actually not too bad, so I'm hoping it starts to get better, but from my experience it actually gets worse come mid-afternoon. So I don't know what I'm going to do today. I might have to stay put, or I might just try to battle it. I was planning on doing 20 kilometers today, but that also includes 600 feet of uphill to cross the height of land in between the Owl and Weisel Rivers. And I'm going to be crossing Summit Lake and Glacier Lake, which apparently have no snow on them. They're just windswept, which means very challenging to get a tent set up in heavy winds. So you know, I might leave and find myself in a dangerous situation. I'm not sure. And I guess I'm going to start getting things ready, and if the weather breaks, then I'll go. If it doesn't, I'll just stay here. Every once in a while, like it's doing now, it seems like it's kind of dying off, and then it just comes back even stronger. It's really gusty, you know, it'll just die and then it'll be and just shake my tent like crazy. I've been in worse in these tents before, but it always makes you a little concerned, you know, what if your tent blows away or your guy lines break or something. Anyways, right now I don't have any fuel in the tent, so I gotta go out of the tent into the ripping wind to pull some fuel back in and melt some water. Why did I think it was a good idea to go out there without my gloves? Damn it. My hands are freezing. This is why I always go the extra length to do a good job setting up my tent. Yesterday when I set it up, the weather was really nice, and in the night it went to shit. So I'm really glad I took that extra time to shovel the snow around the outside on the flap and to bury those snow stakes really deeply. Just use my snow knife here to try to push the wall back because the wind is just coming in so hard on that wall. It's shifting the tent and gusting and it's kind of getting me a little bit nervous because it'll be still and then all of a sudden it'll just be raging wind and the whole freaking tent will shake and I'll be like, whoa, scared that it's going to blow over. But I mean, this goes to show one of the reasons why you want to bring a really tough tent. Look at the width of the poles on this thing, you know, and it's canvas, it's not nylon, it's pretty thick material, it's pretty heavy, but for winter it can stand up to a lot. I probably should have camped in a little bit more protected area. Not that there really was one around here, but I'm kind of camped right out in the open, and that's not helpful to block the wind. Now, of course, the wind can always change direction, so even if you set up in an area that blocks the prevailing winds that day, an hour later, they could be different anyways. So you really want to have a sturdy tent. I just hope this weather breaks, man. This has just not been a very exciting day for old Jim, and a little bit concerning too. That in the distance is Mount Asgard. Now if I could only get there, this weather would have to cooperate though. So that flat top mountain in the distance is Mount Asgard, one of the key prominent features in Awoke National Park, and I'm going to be getting a lot closer to it. This freaking weather would break. I haven't been able to travel at all today. Just going to cook up some food here, and I don't know, man. Hopefully this wind breaks. It's cold. It's just way too windy. I definitely made the right decision not to go anywhere today. Freezing cold out there too, let me tell you. So it is what it is. I just got some tea on the stove and boiling some water. Gonna make some vegetarian chili for dinner. Should be yummy. And just plotting over my route for the next couple days. Well, I just let Buck out for a pee, and it's starting to look better out there. I noticed the tent's not violently shaking to the point where I'm terrified it's going to blow down. So hopefully it's getting better. I don't want to jinx it, but fingers are crossed. You know, last time I was stuck in the tent for 2 days. In the evening it died right down, and then the next morning it picked up again and was even worse and was a blizzard. But that's rare, so I'm thinking this is some good news. Pretty bored. Wish I'd brought a book to read. I forgot my book. Luckily I remembered all my other survival stuff, but could have used a book. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, so we're just hoping that we're going to be able to, you know, press on tomorrow. The lower stretch is supposed to be amazing. I'm going to have to climb over 80 meters tomorrow, though, God willing, if the weather's good. To get up to Glacier Lake. So it's going to be the biggest and most abrupt climb of the trip. Right now I've climbed up 825 feet, and for the most part it's been pretty gradual. But this is going to be kind of the big bang, and then from that point on I'm going to be going downhill back to sea level in the next 4 days. So it's going to be quite steep and the majority downhill. So that's also going to help me, I think, speed things up too. So anyways, I guess what can I do? Just get to bed early and I don't know, hope for good weather and get going first thing tomorrow morning, and you know, try to get ahead of schedule or back on schedule at least. Buck, what's this? Dinner? Buck, come here. There's a boy. Oh, he's a hungry boy. What's he all fired up about? Let me go look. Maybe the weather hasn't broken. Jesus! So it is day 13. Still windy outside, but the incredible gusts died down last night and then kind of petered off around 8 a.m. this morning. It's maybe about 9:30, 10 right now. I'm hoping they don't pick up again, but I mean, it's still windy, but it's not life-threatening windy. So I'm going to travel today. Right off the hop, I have about 400 feet to gain in elevation to make it up to Glacier Lake. Anybody that's tried hauling a sledge up even a slight incline knows that it's very challenging, and it's going to be challenging for Buck too. So I'm looking to do maybe between 15 and 20 kilometers today. And yeah, I'm just gonna try to pack up and get going and keep my face and everything protected from the wind today, and just dress warmly and try not to travel too fast. I'm reaching the maximum height and elevation of this trip today, which is, you know, well over 900 feet. So there is some elevation factors playing a role here in the weather, but I'm actually crossing the height of land today in between the Owl and the Weisel Rivers. And the height of land is basically just a high point that separates the waters that flow from the Owl River and into the Weisel River. So after I cross that height of land, I'll be traveling into the Weisel River watershed today, and pretty much everything should be downhill until I get to Pangnirtung Fjord. Apparently this next section of the trail, though, is much more rugged than the one I've just done. So, I mean, downhill sounds good. If it's really steep, of course, that poses challenges with the sledges as well, because going downhill, they speed up and they want to flip you around. You can run into issues like that as well. But if it's gradual downhill, I should be definitely easier than going up. We'll say that. That's a definite. I've got to break camp. It takes a while to get going in the mornings, that's for sure. There's so many different things to do, but I'm looking forward to starting to put one foot in front of the other tomorrow. Yesterday was a long, boring break, so I'm glad that's over. I'm glad to be moving again. Out of stove gas. Crap! Man, that water was so close to boiling. So I found it interesting that to know that the waters of Glacier Lake actually used to flow both ways. They used to flow into the Weisel and into the Owl River, so that water would collect and then it would flow both ways over the height of land, which is rare, but it's something that you find in rapidly changing watersheds of glacial environments. The portion that flows into the Owl dried up in the late 1950s, which is kind of amazing to see watersheds changing like that. You wouldn't see something like that usually happening in such recent history further to the south, and it just goes to show that I've really traveled back to the last ice age here. And
crazy or stupid or both. But it seems to me like the winds have just picked up right as I take my tent down. Great. It was not like this an hour ago.
Buck's still snoozing. Buck has a really thick warm fur coat, but he already started shedding before he came here, so he's not 100% acclimatized. So I like to bring a warm jacket for him for times like this. Really warm fleece jacket, so when he's just lying around not moving like this, he won't get cold. Are you cold, Buck? Buck, are you cold? He doesn't look overly impressed, but he's not shivering. We're probably not too close to it. Words to the camera, Buck? Okay. Nothing like waking up in the morning and facing the full brunt of the far north. Back to sleep for an hour. Hopefully they die, and finally I didn't wake up or start moving till maybe 9:15. But I did, and it's okay because there's a lot of light. But sometimes you gotta just tell yourself that if you get up and do it, you'll progress. It can be challenging doing this. Yeah, times are fun, but some parts are super freaking hard, like hauling your ass out of bed when you're nice and warm into a freaking blizzard outside to walk 15K and climb a 600-foot mountain. See, but I know that if I get up and if I move, that I will progress.
So, and progressing feels good, but just all the things along the way to get there don't necessarily, but once you do them, it feels good. Unless you die in a blizzard. Fuck! Come on! Come on! Good boy! There we go. That's your boy. Good boy. You're gonna be just fine, Buck. Well, almost ready to progress here. That's where I'm heading. This is going to be interesting. That's all I can say. Beside a big esker. Eventually I'm gonna have to go up it. An esker is an ancient riverbed that once flowed under a glacier. England, baby, maybe to Spain. Wherever I go, I know the blues are all the same. Well, we've reached a really big uphill part here. Good boy. Still making my way up this big hill here. Buck did a really good job coming up the second part there, as you saw, but this last part, which is by far the steepest, so I was really trucking along and I turned back and he was quite a ways down. One thing that's good here is I think the wind is coming this way. It's not a headwind, and I think I'm behind a mountain now that's kind of blocking it. which is just way better without that ripping wind. Oh my god, that was making things miserable. And you can see this big, huge esker. Just a big hump like that. What's this, Buck? What's this? Come on, Buck. What's this? What's this, Buck? Come on, Buck. Come on. Come on, Buck. Come on, Buck. Come on. What's this, Buck? Come on, Buck. Come on. Come on, Buck. I think I'm going to give him a bit of a hand here. He's been doing such a good job. It's tough to grade the steepness of the hill here, but I assure you it's pretty steep. Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on, Buck! Come on, Buck! Buck, come on! Buck, come on, Buck! It's okay, Buck, come on! Buck! Man, hauling up these hills, even the littlest incline makes it so hard. Good boy. Do you see what happened is that the sled started going back down and the rope got tangled around his legs. So he doesn't know to keep pulling forward to keep the sled from going back. And I think that that's kind of what spooks him about going up hills. It's not that it's too hard. I mean, it is tough, but it's also he's worried he's gonna get tangled, so it's a pretty good instinct. Well, I got Buck up there, but it proved to be a false summit. There's another big hill right afterwards. What I did though was I tipped Buck's pulk over so it wouldn't slide back down if he wanted to move around, and it'll get him kind of fixed in one spot. Looks like that wicked wind is picking back up. attach my harness to the pole car and pop off every once in a while. And I could have lost everything down the hill there. I made it up this other steep incline to find that it was another false summit, and I still have that to go up. At least the winds aren't quite as strong, but I got to do it kind of twice every time because Buck needs help up these steep parts, so I got to go back and get him, and he's a ways back. Come on. Go on. Good boy, man. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Well, I think that might be it. I might be standing on the height of land right now. And I'm just gonna have to follow some relatively flat terrain, and I will be on Glacier Lake, which connects to Summit, which flows into the Weisel, which means it's all downhill from here. Yeah! Of course, this part of the trail is extremely rugged, and it's definitely gonna have its challenges, so I don't want to cheer too much, but that's a really good part to put behind me. Some pretty awesome scenery, but it's kind of kicking my butt right now. Buck! Buck! As you can see, going downhill when you're hauling a sled has its challenges too if it's steep. 15 I want to make. It's just so slow walking into this wind. So I stopped, I drank something warm, I drank some water, I ate something, I'm feeling a little better, and I'm gonna just try going forward, and depending on how I feel, depending on the conditions, if I don't think I can do it, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna make a snow block wall, and I'm gonna try to set up my tent in these ripping winds. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it another 13K against these winds today. It's just crazy. I really don't see me being able to something against these winds. Right now I'm blocked a little by this. The camera with mitts on. One of my GoPros is completely out of batteries and the other one is frozen and won't work. Oh man, super tough day today too, coming up that mountain. I just really hope that the wind doesn't change directions on me here. I'm basically just going to try to dig out a space here for the tent. Should be interesting. It's my own fault for sweating too much coming up that hill, but how do you not sweat going up a mountain? But now I have my down parka on and I feel the chill coming on, so I have nothing really, no backup anymore. So if the wind shifts on me, I could be but hopefully it won't. Finally a good one. battery's about to die. I'm hoping, you know, I'll be able to get this done, and for you to have a look at. I don't know how much more battery life I have, but I think it's pretty much toast. Yeah, battery's dead. Well, guys, maybe you're the last people to see me alive, huh? Hopefully not. Okay, just checking in with you. My freaking video camera is just totally etched in snow. Oh man. I'll have to hopefully somehow, as if I gotta film my survival situation I'm in, you know? It's hard enough I'm already. Ice on the lens. Okay, well, that's gonna have to do. Oh man, look how much snow is dumping in my camera case. There's just little particles of snow blowing all over the place. Buck has become a snowdrift himself. Here's my last snow block. Now, it doesn't feel so windy where we are right now because of the wall. When you pop your head over the other side of that wall, it starts to feel really windy, believe me. So I'm just gonna shape this out a bit, thin it out. Doesn't need to be so thick. Still needs to be pretty thick though. Flatten the bottom best I can. Just basically trying to square it up a bit. Sorry, Buck. Oh, I accidentally kicked Buckaroo in the face. Oh, I didn't see you there, Buck. You blended in. You don't look like you're shivering. We're gonna get you in the tent and give you some food. Good boy. I made a stupid decision trying traveling today. So I built it on top of a snowbank. You can see here, but because I did that, I was able to make it a lot higher. So now I just got to get my tent up. In the Arctic, there are tricks like this. They take a lot of work, but you can use them and you can survive. Yeah, sure, no problem. The only thing is there's very little margin for error. If you can't build it and you can't get your tent up, you die. You don't just have a chilly night. It's game over. Anyways, I'm going to get my tent up ASAP and get in there, get the stove going and get some food in me and get some sleep. If I didn't have this snow block wall here, I wouldn't be getting this tent up, especially not broadside to the wind. No way. Buck! Buck, go on. Go on. Buck, go on. In there, go on. This is a bit of a panic part, because if a big wind comes up, it could render this, it could just blow this down before I get the stakes in. That in the old-fashioned way. Anchor that really freaking well. When I'm in a situation like this, I always anchor the tent first before I start shoveling snow on the flap, because it's the anchors that are really going to keep it from blowing away. Stake it like that. Well, that's about it. I'm going to just shovel snow on the edges of this, throw all my stuff in there, melt water, and do all the other things I got to do before bed. Hopefully dry these cameras out. But I'm safe now. I got my tent up. And this tent, even if I don't have the wall, it can stand up to a lot. It's just you can't get it up without a wall. I've decided that I'm going to have my last hot chocolate tonight. What do you think? Do I deserve it? I think so.
Camera's still quite foggy. I'm hopefully, oh there, that's looking a little better. Let's look at the buck. You look like a big snowball today out there.
You're a big tough sled dog, aren't you? Yeah, you're a big husky.
That's my most trusted companion right there, and well, he means a moral support out here. I was really impressed by how well he did today. He just did awesome. He was always behind me no matter how hard the wind was. He just kept trucking on, and you know, he's just got such a big heart, this dog. It's just amazing. He's such a big and kind heart too. He's just such a great companion to have out here. He's snoring. Keeping your water bottles in your sleeping bag at night prevents them from freezing solid, which is a serious concern here in the Arctic. I like to put hot water in mine and then put them in my sleeping bag, and it's an extra heat source for cold nights like tonight, which is freezing f***ing cold. Anyways, I think that's it. Got a little survival situation-y tonight, but me and Buck pulled through. Got our tent in a good spot. Hopefully the weather's better tomorrow, but who knows. And yeah, that's about it. We're alive, we're well, and we have about 6 more days left to finish this trip. Hopefully we can do it.
Buck is scared to walk on the glare ice.